And my mind started to reach such levels of amazement. Things that were running through my head were so beautiful. I've noticed that anyone who has achieved something in life, that is successful in something, he just stuck to it long enough. And everybody else was doing 20 things. Why do they always want to go out and do something? Because they have weak minds that must always be stimulated. You see, as men, I've learned that one of the best things you can be is calm, collected. I'm going to open up with you guys here a bit. I'm very impulsive sometimes, man. I just make a decision and it's just done. But you know what I learned? The pause is everything. Pausing before jumping to a conclusion. Pausing before judging a situation, before assuming the worst, right? Pausing before that sin. Pausing before even I'm about to do that good deed and just, thinking about, am I sincere? That pause is everything, man. Just that moment, right? Being present in that moment has really proved beneficial. You see, I've learned that a leader can't make decisions on impulse. They have to be more rational, more controlled, right? And that's not to say that you're not ever going to be tempted or that you won't ever have impulses. It's rather you have to learn to control those impulses, right? And as a man, this is so important because I've learned, you know who's going to wreck your head the most if you're an impulsive person? Your woman. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The woman. You have to be able to adhere to so much nonsense. Sometimes you just pause and it's like, you know what? I'm not even explaining. You just have that point. And then you'll notice like 2 hours later, they'll come back to you and be like, oh, oopsies. Because you paused in the moment and you just chose not to react, right?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, ikhwa. Finally, man, this is going to be the final one, right? We're finally done with the mind control program. Now, for many reasons, not because there's a problem with the program, but naturally, the mind control program takes me hours, okay? It takes 16 hours of live teaching because we don't just sell videos. And then, obviously, we stay with each client one-to-one for another 6 weeks. And, of course, that takes a lot of time, which we don't have anymore. And we're starting to deal with 6 and 7, 8-figure clients and just specializing with them, which naturally means we have a lot less time. So this is going to be the final mind control program. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen the reviews on the Trustpilot. Everyone has said that this program changed their lives. And I've asked every single client that's ever bought mind control the same question. At the end, I always ask them, did you regret this? And wallahi, they testify by Allah that they didn't. You guys can see that no person has ever come to the mind control program and said, you know what, I regret buying that after finishing the program. This is because this is a program that genuinely changes lives. This is a start. No matter how many business courses you invest in, how many different things you invest in, nothing's going to change unless you change you first. You see, you can't make more money and keep making that money sustained if you have certain problems first. You're going to make money, it's going to drop again, and you'll never be able to climb to that next level you want to reach. You're going to notice that you're stuck at certain places and you just can't improve. So if you finally just want to change yourself and you're tired of, focusing on the wrong things and you need to just narrow down and you're ready to focus on yourself, get signed up to the mind control program and change your life finally. Assalamu alaikum.
Another problem I've noticed is we have too much going on. And that's why none of us are really being successful in anything. And if there's one thing I've seen over people that come into my company and work as, work underneath us, the clients that I've seen to always lead to destruction the quickest, right? They just had too much going on. They were trying to do everything, right? We brought them in the company to learn. 2 seconds later, they want to start this or they're bringing this and that. And then it's like, bro, just calm down for a second, man. Calm down for a second, man, right? And I've seen that like some people just can't have one main thing. And the main thing in life is keeping your main thing. You see, one of the reasons I'm currently here in Marrakesh, I was about to sell one of my apartments to buy 2 apartments with the money from selling the one, right? So I did the mathematics and it makes way more sense for me to own 2 smaller apartments than 1 medium-sized one, financially speaking, right? But then I asked myself, no, just get money to buy the other 2. Why would you sell something, your main thing now, to just go into 2 maybes or, something could happen. Now, why would you that's your main one here. That's like your, I don't want to say the word stuff. All of you who smiled, man, may Allah guide you. That's your main thing. Why would you jump to a side thing, a side conquest? There's no need for that, man. Your main thing is your main thing. And you should always protect your main thing first. Does that make sense? Right? Now, you see, it'd be nice if that was all, but how do we keep this concept of the main thing? I've noticed that anyone who has achieved something in life, that is successful in something, he just stuck to it long enough. And everybody else was doing 20 things, right? But this guy just did the one thing, and we all call them great now. And now they do 20 things, so we say, but because he's so successful, I'm going to do 20 things too. He was doing one thing for so long. His success comes down to one thing. Now he's just become very successful for multiple things, right? So if you have not defined your life, you will never ever be able to properly arrange your individual actions. When you're not defined, and a lot of us aren't defined, and a lot of people thought they were defined. And for just my clients who've done the vision doc, I just want to ask you, were you defined prior? Yeah. We think we know what we're doing. You see, we think we understand what we're working towards, but we've never actually thought about it for more than like 20 minutes because we're always stimulated, right? You see, it's actually a discipline to step away sometimes and think, what am I doing, right? What am I doing? What are my priorities? What is the most important contribution I make to my work, to my family, to the world? And you know what it is? Real discipline is just ignoring everything else, man. It's changed my life, ikhwa, wallahi al-adim, right? I'm going to repeat that again. If you have not groomed your life in general towards some definitive end, you cannot possibly arrange your individual actions properly. Discipline is actually stepping away and asking yourself, what am I doing? What are my priorities? What is the most important contribution I make to my work, to my family, to the world, and then just ignoring everything else? See, I'm not trying to be the best at everything, man. I'm not trying to conquer in everything or take over absolutely. No, man, I'm just trying to do this one thing. I'm just trying to do it really well, right? You have to understand, ikhwa, it's simple that you carry opportunity costs for every decision you make, right? There's only one of you. Remember that. You only have one mind, and you can only really, at the end of the day, focus on one thing. So what are you going to focus on? Everything we say yes to means no to something else. So saying no is something we have to learn, because every no can also be a yes to something that actually matters, that actually benefits us, right? Now, people always ask me, like, how does it become easier? Like, how do I learn to say no? How do I make it easy for me to say no? Define what exactly you're genuinely trying to build and work towards. Define it, right? And when you define it, you'll realize that, whoa, this actually isn't as hard as I thought. It's actually way easier to say no than I thought it was. So when people ask me to go out or do something, I'm like, no. And they'll call you at X, Y, Z, but I understand that. That's fine. That's fine. Because why do they always want to go out and do something? Because they have weak minds that must always be stimulated.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ikhwa, listen, this is the finale of the Mind Control program. I know a lot of you guys have wanted to get signed up. It's going to be the final one, man. And there's only 25 spaces, as you know, per cohort, which many have already been taken. So if you want to get signed up to the last and final Mind Control program, click the link in the description. You want to change your life, but guess what? Change doesn't come until something changes. Now, this is your first step to change. Click the link in the description and get signed up, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
All right. People who are always outside of their homes, always gallivanting across the streets, or always looking for the next motive, it is a serious sign of a weak mind. People who can't be alone, they have to call up one of their friends when they're driving in the car, or when they're doing anything, they have to be stimulated. Or I even give out to brothers for putting shuyukh on the radio. Like, akhi, tell me, I was with one of the brothers in the car, and you might think this is extreme. Listen, I was with one of the brothers in the car, right? And he has this guy always playing on the radio, and I paused it. I was, akhi, tell me the last 5 lines he just said. Because, bro, like, it was talking about, then he paused. He's like, I don't even know, man. It's like, bro, why are you listening to it, man? I just like it in the background. The weak mind. And that's why people who listen to music have the weakest minds of everyone I've ever seen, because they can't be without it. The guy is bloody about to sleep and he's like, what is the logic, man? Right? He's in the toilet for like 10 minutes taking a shower. He's still playing. Imagine, even in the shower, he can't be alone with his thoughts, man. For 10 minutes, right? He's drinking, he goes and he drinks a cup of coffee. And I just look at the guy, he's drinking a cup of coffee and he's watching something in the background. I asked the brother, imagine, to make me a cup of coffee. Do you know how long it takes to make a cup of coffee? About 4 minutes. And he brings his phone with him and starts playing a video. I'm like, bro, this is problematic, man. Why are you always stimulated? This is a weak mind. This is a very weak mind, right? And I've seen this today more than ever. I'm like, bro, I get it. You have a weak mind, but don't use me as stimulation. I got things to do, right? Because sometimes they start calling you and trying to talk to you. And when I realize that they have nothing to say, when I'm like, yeah, bro, so what's up? What do you need? LMNOP. Shut up, bro. Get off the phone. Be alone for a second. You don't have to do everything. Like, one of the biggest lies in productivity is you have to use every minute. Part of utilizing time is just being alone with self-reflection. And by the way, this is something that is encouraged among the Salaf. Just doing nothing sometimes and just being alone. Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, he talks about it, right? Just if you were to just stop and think, reflect, it could be the difference. But we don't do enough like nothing. So we never, this morning, I just went to the coffee shop, right? I have fruit in the morning, right? As you guys know. And I'm in Marrakesh. You guys can see my skin looks 10-10 right now. I'll tell you why, yeah. Inshallah, it's because the sun and my Moroccan tea and my fruits, the combination of it is just perfect. I have the best diet when I'm in Morocco, which is why I like it here, right? Part of utilizing time is doing nothing with the time, right? Doing nothing. And I'll talk about that in a second, right? Barakallahu feekum, ikhwan. Allah bless you guys. All use our leng as well. Don't worry. So I was in the cafe this morning and I was there with my book, right? You guys know me, little nerd, right? I was there with my book and my hat. I didn't even bring my phone, man, honestly. And I love doing this a lot. The cafe is just like 2 minutes away from this apartment, right? It's why I stay here every time. I love it. I love routine. So they know me. Don't even ask me what I want. Just cuts up my fruit, brings me tea and a bottle of water. Same thing every time, every single time, right? So I go in, I give the guy his Moroccan kiss, right, left side, go upstairs, sit in my corner, reserved for me all the time. Same time every morning. I open my book, I pick up my highlighter and I start highlighting, man. I'm loving the book. And you know what? I put book to the side to a second, right? When I was done, because I finished the book, right? I put the book to the side for a second and I was just doing nothing. And my mind started to reach such levels of amazement. Things that were running to my head were so beautiful, but I had no phone to document it, right? And I didn't bring my journal. So wallahi al-azim, I have my pen that I carry because I use it to highlight things in my book. And I ended up taking the napkin, wallahi al-azim, the napkin on my table. Perhaps I still have it. 1 second. And you know what I realized? I started to think about you create really great ideas in the morning, man, when you're alone, when no one's around you. And you know what it came down to? It's the morning where people aren't bothering me or aren't breaking into my brain and trying to ask me stupid questions and ask me for stupid logins and my team aren't disturbing me. That's when I can actually really achieve deep state of flow. People tell me I have problems coming up with ideas, etc. I told them it's because you're stimulated, man. If I was this vision doc, I don't know. I told, bro, stop, remove your stimulation for a week. I promise the doc becomes amazing, man. Just reducing stimulation. Be okay. Please, ikhwa, if you're going to learn anything, just be okay with doing nothing, man. Just be okay in that moment, doing nothing. Have a blank piece of paper and a pen in front of you and just express yourself a little bit, man. All right? See what ideas you can come up with. See what thoughts you can come up with. Think about your deen. What things could you better do, right? What charity projects could you build right now, right? What can you do, right? And I found by doing these things in the morning, every morning, just having that section where I'm not even working. I used to just say, yeah, after Fajr, I'm just going to go straight away and work. Now, I just leave a gap to just do nothing. Right? I leave a gap to do nothing. They think I'm so weird at the cafe, by the way, right? Because everyone sees me. I'm always just with my book and my highlighter, just walking every day, man. No phone, no nothing. I just come there with my book and my highlighter. Think I'm such a nerd, right? Same time every day. It's like, bro, what's wrong with this guy, man? Free yourself up a little bit. But you know what? I feel so free, man. I feel so free. And that's what they don't tell you, that you become a slave to your phone. It's not people who don't use their phones that are enslaved to discipline. No. They are the ones that are free. It's people who are stuck on their phones that are enslaved to their phones. And trust me, once you lift your head up off your phone and you stop using it as much, I promise you, when I'm looking around now, when I'm outside, I'm like, you bunch of little weirdos. Look at you. Everyone is just like this. Do you know how stupid people look like? You know how stupid it looks? They took the most powerful thing Allah gave a human being, his mind, and they just mushed it. It's like me, I only started to get around camera equipment lately because I realized, I don't need a videographer to press the record button. For big shoots maybe, but, I don't like being alone, right? So it's this lens, by the way, right? If I'm to show you this, just this lens, and it costs 600 euro just for the lens, by the way, not even the camera, right? 600, that's it's normal. You can get 2,000 euro lenses, etc. It's I want you guys to imagine something that is luxurious to you. Maybe it's, for me, what I'm thinking of in my head right now? An old black Range Rover Sport, man, 24 plate. The new one, SVR. Amazing, right? Imagine someone just ramming it, just ramming through it. That is what they've done to our minds today, man. But we have to all dedicate ourselves to becoming the best version of ourselves. And I don't mean that in a self-development way. I mean that in a raw way, right? One of my goals, honestly, ikhwa, is to change the whole opinion and people's whole view on self-development. It's become a thing of a joke. But I read a hadith, a saying, not from the Prophet ﷺ, but from Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, that made me realize that there's nothing more important than self-development, in fact. You know what he says? He says, ad-din kulluhu khuluq. The religion, in its entirety, entirety is character, right? فَمَنْ زَادَ عَلَيْكَ فِي الْخُلُقِ زَادَ عَلَيْكَ فِي الدِّينِ. So whoever has surpassed you in character has surpassed you in the deen as well. See, we preach making money, we preach everything, but the thing men need today is to develop themselves. And we have to change the whole understanding of what self-development means. It's not something cliche. It's not what the kuffar have made it to be a wishy-washy thing. This is something every Muslim should dedicate his life to developing himself day to day. And there is nothing more important. I would rather spend $1 million on self-development than 10 million on making money. A course on making, because I've realized what is really important at the end of the day is you developing you, right? There is nothing more high leverage than a man working on developing himself. See, working on developing your business isn't necessarily high leverage, right? Working on developing, I don't know, a specific relationship isn't necessarily high. The most high leverage thing you can do, one thing you can do that affects every single aspect of your life immediately, is developing yourself. It affects your relationship with your parents, your siblings, your kids if you have kids, your spouses. You're so different. What are you talking about? I called the past. I go, Salaam alaikum ya kinafa. And he goes, you're so different. I was like, what are you talking about? What did I do now? Right? I thought they were going to nag me because this is normally a nagger, right? Then he goes, you've just been so different recently. I goes, what are you talking about, right? I said, you've been different because you're calm now and nice. I was like, subhanAllah, man. So if now you're describing me as nice, what would you have described me as previously? Because no, I'm not saying you weren't nice before, but now like, it's like good. It's nice to work with you. It's refreshing. Not saying it was bad before, but now I'm starting to love this dynamic, this working relationship, right? That was actually two separate people that said that, by the way, right? The second part of, it wasn't the Kanafa guy that said he's enjoying working with me, but the other person said I was nice, all right? And that this is better. And then the other person said, like, I'm really starting to enjoy working with you, all right? And you hear praise from your family, you hear praise from your youngest, like, bro, you're different. I realized the highest leverage thing you can do, and you feel closer to Allah. I'm not telling you not to develop your business or make money, of course. And people will tell you good character doesn't pay the bills, but I beg to differ because I've seen so many things I've bought into only because of the person behind it. But what I'm trying to establish to you is I genuinely believe wholeheartedly the highest leverage something any man can do is develop himself, right? I know so many people that studied Islam, mashallah, and they're the worst of people, wallahi al-adim. They have no manners. They talk down on absolutely every single person. And he hasn't studied the deen correctly because the big part of the deen is developing yourself and your akhlaq, right? So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is I want you to become addicted. And this has to be the mantra for everyone in the game. Addicted to self-improvement. See, I posted a post in the other day, the best brother, the best son, the best boss, the best leader, the best husband, the best abd, the best slave, the best man, the best Muslim, the best father, the best friend, the best uncle. Aim to be the best in everything. Allah has created ihsan in everything. Right? How many people have money but they're depressed? Money isn't the secret, ikhwa. And I'm sorry, forgive me if I ever made it feel like it was. Now, don't get it twisted. I haven't turned into one of these other extremists to say money isn't important. Cap. Okay, but if you're asking me if I'd rather have all the wealth in the world but not be the best person I could be, or be the best person I could be and maybe not have that much wealth, I would 100% choose the latter. Trust me, ikhwa, I've revealed to you a secret that many people are hiding because it doesn't benefit their pockets. The truth is, the best thing you can be is the best version of you. As cliche, as gay as it sounds, I don't care. If you're going to work on anything, work on yourself. Business will become better. Life will become easier. Relationships will become better. If you're going to work on anything, first, work on yourself. Wallahi, I swear by Almighty Allah, and I'm ready to stand in front of Him on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. I'm not giving you this advice to benefit my pockets. Genuinely, I've seen it and I've tested it on all my clients. The best thing you can do is develop yourself. I've made people money. I've made people thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. The best thing I've ever done is help people improve themselves. Okay? And don't you worry. Money is a byproduct of self-development. And that's why it makes no sense to focus on money first. Because money is actually a byproduct of self-development. Do you guys understand me? It's like it comes anyway. How much better have your money-making abilities been? Like prior to mind control or after mind control? Which one? Be honest with me. Be honest. Please. So wait, did we just all agree on this call that you developing yourself has bettered your ability to make money? Whoa. You came to that conclusion, not me. Meshi, I just put it out of you. Sometimes I realize that we've just never had someone ask us the right questions. So I'm asking you the right question now. What is the highest leverage thing you can do?